Hey everybody, this is your weekly bridge video for this upcoming week 11 already of the semester. So just a quick recap of what's been going on and what we're talking about. So we're in this new module 4, and we're focusing on genomic literacy. And basically with genomic literacy, we want to have an understanding of how the public is learning and being educated about genetics and genomics, because obviously, as we know, these medical revelations is evolving very fast, and the media is putting things out there. The internet obviously has a vast amount of information out there, but how accurate is it, and how are people from school-aged kids to adults to the elderly learning about these things, and even people like yourselves, future up-and-coming and current health professionals, staying up to date on this stuff. Because even, for example, those of you who are established RNs taking my class, for example, or the future students who are taking this class now, who are going to be RN BSN students later on, and even physicians currently that work, they've learned only so much of biology and genetics, and it may have been a while back, could be years, or decades even, and they may not be as up to date with the latest things going on. So it's really important to understand what is genomic literacy and what are the ways that everybody in society, again, from school-age children to adults to the elderly to even current health professionals, are staying up to date and learning about these things, because obviously with the way technology is moving and the way medications are being developed, this has a huge impact on everybody's life and society. So this week 11 in particular, our focus is going to be on the scientific community. So understanding how is the scientific community taking responsibility, and who are they trying to reach out to, and how are they developing ways to improve the genomic literacy of the public. So for example, one type of audience that comes up, obviously, as I mentioned before, are the health professions. So doctors and nurses especially, it turns out, are not always up to date on their understandings of genomics and genetics. And in fact, that's a big complaint, is the fact that many health professions are limited or know very little about the subject to confidently then talk to patients or interpret even genetic testing results in great detail. Therefore, I've provided some papers and some videos within this module in particular that focuses on that, and to see what can be done to help health professions gain a better understanding without having necessarily go back to school, obviously, and relearn these things. So there's a lot of interesting things out there. One in particular thing, and I'm going to provide, there's a PDF provided for you under week 11, is this guideline. It's a booklet. It's about 80 pages. I don't expect you to read it. I'm not going to test you out of it, but I might have you skim it, and I'll certainly reference certain parts of it for you as well. But this is a really great guide. This is particularly for nurses. This is called the Essentials of Genetic and Genomic Nursing: Competencies, Curricula, Guidelines, and Outcome Indicators. Now, this booklet was developed by the American Nursing Association and a bunch of other various nursing associations, along with some government agencies, to really think about what are those key things within genetics and genomics that nurses need to know how to do, and what they need to be able to stay up to date about with regards to genetics in order to talk to patients or work with patients that may face or have to go through a genetic test. Then again, as we know, a lot of diseases that are being looked at or diagnosed tend to have some type of genetic component. So it's going to be really interesting for you guys to take a look at that. I'm going to have you particularly focus on pages 11 through, I'm looking at it right now, 13. So just a couple of those pages out of that booklet of 80 pages. And it's really interesting because this breaks down, for example, identification. So who is the audience person that they're targeting here? The registered nurse. And what do they want to get or find out about that is the registered nurse identifies clients or patients who may benefit from specific genetic and genomic information. They identify credible, accurate, appropriate, and current genetic and genomic information, resources, services. And they identify technical, ethical, ethnic, ancestral, cultural, religious, legal, fiscal, and societal issues. And the nurse is, going to help define issues that undermine the rights of all clients for autonomous, informed, genetic and genomic related decision making. And then what are some of those things that the nurse is expected to do? So provision of education, care, and support. So the registered nurse, for example, will provide clients with interpretation of selective genetic information, provide clients with credible and accurate and appropriate and current genetic information, resources, and services. So basically this guideline kind of breaks down what the registered nurse or what the nurse should be able to do, and at the same time what additional resources should the nurse know in order to help refer a patient who is dealing, say, with a genetic disease or some type of genetic testing, and start teaching them and educating that patient and maybe that patient's family about how to understand the diagnosis further or what treatments are available. Because again, you guys as a nurse are going to be the front line of defense here. So again, week 11 is going to be really interesting, I think, and really pertainable to you guys, particularly a lot of you now who are current and going to be the near future of nursing. At the same time, with regards to your assignment, you guys are going to be putting together your own little short lesson plan on how to educate of the public or a patient about something to do with genomics, kind of to showcase your genomic literacy, so to speak. So this week, I'd like you guys to try to feel free to reach out to me via email and let me know roughly what your topic is going to be. Continue to do your research. Feel free to ask me questions and start working on your presentations as well, as they will be due the following week. All right? Thanks very much, and have a great weekend.